Good noon, everyone. So I think you guys are not sleepy and I will be able to keep you engaged. So like we are seeing, AI is taking a center place worldwide, how governments, they are managing the information, they are using data to enhance services, the citizen services, and how they are enhancing the efficiency while catering basic needs of citizens of their country. So basically, India is leading the space. Recently, India has allocated a budget of 2,000 crore for AI and a 500 crore for, setting up a center of excellence for AI. So my question to you, my first question to you would be, AI is evolving and it's bringing both the opportunities and the risk. So do you think that, current AI policies, when it's coming to catering citizen services, it's catering to both, means to providing to provide enhanced services and security as well?
Thanks, Sugandha. Let me at the outset thanks DataQuest and entire team having me here. Question is very pertinent. In fact, since we are discussing about the emerging sense, be it AI, be it all the AI-related stuff, let me also make very clear that AI alone will not do. I think along with AI, you have to also look into other emerging sense, be it a cloud, be it a big data concept, be it a IoT and distributed computing. So all of them together, if I take it forward, one side, like Sugandha ji had said, saying that how do you leverage AI and related tools in terms of giving the next level of citizen experience, which probably we are doing. The other side is how do you manage your resources effectively. When I say resources, it could be your hardware and software resources, it could be your manpower resources. So that is the second side of it. But overall, if you ask me, I think I always say that AI has 3 eyes. And what are those 3 eyes? The first eye is the innovation. Now let me quote some examples so that after a heavy lunch, we should not go into a sleep mode. The first, when I say the innovation, the first eye, whatever you are doing today, can you do differently? Can you solve a problem differently? That's where the potential of AI may be. To quote an example, let's say when you are trying to give a next level of citizen experience to all of you in terms of delivering passport services, whether you live within the country or maybe the diaspora across the globe. The first innovation what we have done, and we're leveraging this emerging sense is, how do I reach you wherever you are? Doesn't matter you are coming from a Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai and applying for a passport services, or let's say a poor villager or farmer at a far end of our country trying to reach for a government services like passport. So how do I reach you wherever you are? Whichever language you understand, whichever devices you are interacting with me, so can I do that? And that's where I think the first take. So you have to innovate. You have to innovate huge cases, right? AI will not work on air. AI has to be developed with some huge cases. So one of the huge cases I said. The second huge case is something I call transformation. Can you bring a transformation? And when I say transformation, it must not be and should not be a silo way. So assume that you are again seeking a passport services. So right from applying on the portal till you get a passport, can I leverage AI wherever possible? Again, you have to develop use case on the customer interface side, on the process and policy side, and also tracking, let's say, end-to-end feedback and grievance mechanism. So that's the way now when you look on an enterprise way. The third is definitely, no, when you are leveraging AI, as I said, one has to be guarded. Guarded when I say when you are developing those use case, do you really understand your business rules? If you do not understand your business rule, if you do not identify your data sets well, if you do not feed to the AI model well, I don't think you are going to land somewhere. You are terribly going to land somewhere wrong. So that's the third area I think we all need to work on. So that is the first I, the innovation part. How do you innovate? Let's say I have engaged an industry model, right, in the entire passport issuance system. When I am working with the industry, my biggest worry is how do I take care of the sovereign issues, right? Government, we have sovereign resources, sovereign data, critical functions. So the idea is when you are leveraging the emulsions, are you in a position to segregate between a sovereign resource and non-sovereign resource? Are you in a position to devise such kind of a access, role and authorizations, right? Are you in a position to devise your data by itself in terms of PII data, public data, configurable data, fiduciary data? I have done that. I have done that, right? So that's the innovation part. The second is the second I, three I's. The second I is the impact. What kind of impact we are looking? Which interface you are looking to create that impact? Is it a citizen interface? Is it a backend resources? Is it a cross-functional kind of area you are looking the impact? Or is it you are looking impact in terms of, let's say, data security and privacy concerns? So again, you need to develop those use cases. The third is definitely, I said, innovation, impact, and third is integration. Utmost important. You have a legacy. You are carrying a legacy forward, right? Whatever infrastructure you have in hand, whatever application you have in hand, whatever, let's say, operation in hand, you cannot leave the legacy alone. So how do you integrate with the legacy? So innovation, impact, and integration. These are the three areas, and develop use case, build your data, align your data, but do not forget something I always say, saying that the rules of engagement. What are the rules of engagement? And when I say rules of engagement, it is nothing but your compliances, regulations, and law of the land. Tomorrow, if you go somewhere wrong, where do you land? You land into the court of law. Then how do you protect yourself? If you are not aligned with your rules of engagement, then again, I think probably you are going terribly wrong. So that's my first take. Thank you.
So Siddharth, very quickly, your point of views on, like I already mentioned, that it's bringing both opportunity and risk. So how should Indian government, can balance between the innovation and regulation?
I think it's already there. So the Indian government is doing a fantastic work by balancing innovation and regulation very nicely, with having relevant frameworks in place, having a lot of conversation with the industry participants, and with DPDPA coming in with AI gaining more importance, then that will definitely play a big role. And government is playing a very beautiful role there. One thing which I strongly believe in, that AI is like a child, right? So the way child grows, the same way this technology is growing, and we all humans are the teachers or the parents to that. And government can play a role like a school, right? So by having those guardrails in place, having those frameworks in place, so that, and these frameworks, I don't see it as it was being discussed earlier in the day as well. These are not the brakes. These are the guardrails which help you move faster. They will actually take away a lot of, many people do want to do the right things. Majority of us want to do the right things. The problem comes in when we don't know what is the right thing to do in terms of what are the boundaries, in which boundaries to operate and all. So these frameworks which will be in place will help us define those boundaries pretty well, so that I know I can only focus upon the use cases and work around those guardrails and do things around it. So yeah, so I think government is playing a good role. They will continue doing that. And I think at the global level, little philosophical, however, that is going to happen the way we have nuclear treaties now. And I think many folks are saying this. We'll have AI treaties among countries going ahead, because this is something which none of us know how it is going to evolve, into what it is going to evolve, because it is evolving I really doubt if anyone can answer what AI does, how it does. It's happening, it's evolving as we speak. It's evolving. So yeah, and government is also giving a right amount of ammunition to the parties to innovate as well. Many of the use cases which are there in the DPI framework, which are unheard of globally, now are all bedrock of data. Similarly, Digi Yatra is one such example. So yeah, which has flourished so nicely. It's one of the leading examples globally for self-sovereign identity and a use case to streamline journeys. So yeah.
Yeah. So Digi Yatra is AI-powered, identity verification system. So do you, how do regulations impact when we think about, implementing such AI deployment in identity verification system? Because authentication is something very critical when it comes to citizens. So do you think, like, how regulations are impacting such AI deployment?
So it's not, again, it's not impacting, it's helping us only. So to build solutions which are, so Digi Yatra is a privacy by design. So so all of us know Digi Yatra for convenience. How many of you Digi Yatra is here? Just a show of hand. Oh, wow, too many of you. Yes, great. Now, everybody relates Digi Yatra with convenience for sure, right? Like you are travel ready, you arrive at the airport, show your face, gate opens, you cross the touch points and done, right? The 30-minute thing has come down to 10 minutes. How many of you really know that the whole solution is powered without any central storage? Any? Yeah, very few hands. So yeah, that's the innovation part. So Golokji rightly gave 3 I's. So innovation part is there, impact part is there, and the integration is also there. So yeah, so when it comes to answer your question, how regulations impact us, they help us be in check. During the initial days, there was a lot of noise around privacy and all when Digi Yatra recently started. So it definitely helped us fine tune. We were doing the right things, but how do you communicate is also the answer. So to improve upon the consent frameworks, how do you take consent? How do you make it more elaborate? MIT stepped in and they guided us to do the right thing there as well. Similarly, Niti Aayog ran a report about responsible AI. Digi Yatra was picked up as one of the case study in it. So they have a lot of recommendations which I think globally also people are not following. So many of those recommendations, to be very frank and positively, we can claim that they are adhered to today in the Digi Yatra framework. So that ways, I see it as a collaborative effort rather than bringing us down or not a challenge there.
Yeah, okay. So Golok sir, my next question to you, recently I myself visited the Passport Seva Center, and I was truly amazed by the seamless experience that I had there. So can you share us one example of, any AI feature which got integrated and enhanced the, experience of the people who are visiting the centers?
No, absolutely. I think, Sugandha, the idea is not one. I mean, the potential is the leveraging of AI, and as I said, it's not about AI alone, but all of them together. If you see, how do you bring in that end-to-end experience together? Let me quote another example so that we all connect. Whether someone is coming from industry, we come from government, education, whatever sector it is, what is that we are looking for when you are looking for a service, citizen service, or a product or solution, or maybe data security and privacy? In all sense, I'm looking for 4 things. What are those 4 things? The first and foremost thing is the speed, the efficiency. Now let's say you are applying for a passport services. Many a time we are getting a call from citizen because the fact is they come to Passport Seva Kendra, submitted, I mean their final processing is done, and even before they reach their house, there is a SMS on their mobile saying that your passport is in print queue. Now, somebody says that, is it a hoax SMS or is it really true? How is it possible? I am not even reach home. I am on the way back to home. You are sending me a SMS saying that my passport is in print queue. How is it possible? So how do you bring in that efficiency? How do you bring in that speed? that is the where I think you need to develop, as I said, those use cases, those areas of concerns. And when I say those areas of concerns, whether in terms of dealing with the citizens, in terms of verifying a document per se, in terms of dealing with the process per se, I take hardly 30 minutes within the Passport Seva Kendra. Again, that means here not only the processes, operation is also involved, right? The manpower side is also involved. So all pieces together, and that's how one has to look. But the other fact is when India like country, the problem of ours is you are dealing with a scale. So that's why I always take another 4A's. The first stage is the speed, which I spoke about. Second is the scale. Now we are dealing with a mass of, let's say, more than 1.4 billion people. And whom are you dealing with? There are a lot of variations, right, in terms of demography, geography, literacy, education, economic conditions. You are dealing with so much of a variations. Can you bridge those gaps? Can you bring a technology solutions which deals with equal to every one of them? Doesn't matter, you come from rural, urban, your economic background, doesn't matter. Your literacy conditions, your vernacular, your dialect, doesn't matter. So that's the scale we are dealing, right? So that's the second is. So speed, scale, and third is security. Whatever we are doing, whether we are talking about DPDP, all the compliances, regulations, it's all about how are you or how securely are you dealing with that data, that services, that schemes, that product, that solutions. And that's why when we are engaging with industry, our take from the industry is, can you give me a solution which ensures speed, scale, security, and the last piece is the sustainability. Two parts of sustainability. One is that how do you sustain over a time, and other part of a sustainability is now, I think it's high time that the hydrocarbon entrenched economy is going to last for some more time, right? Maybe 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. Then what? You have to come out and move towards a green energy. That's the other piece of sustainability. So if you look, leverage AI, all these potentials, to my mind, all these 4A's together, if you can build and practice, AI will evolve, AI will learn. It's up to you, how do you evolve and learn with those boundaries, all those 4A's pieced together. And when you look all of them together, I don't foresee it's a silo way, as you are saying, which area. It's not be in area, it should be end-to-end kind of a holistic approach. So that's the way. Thank you.
So in few recent conversation, I was able to experience and understand how public and private authorities are collaborating. Like I've seen examples how DOT, CDOT, RailTel, GEM portal, the Ayushman Bharat, Passport Seva, CoWIN. So these all are how they are integrating and working. So I would like to take your views on, how can public-private partnerships accelerate AI adoption in government services? And do you see any role for, Indian startups coming up and supporting Indian government to implement AI in their services?
That's already happening. The Digi Yatra is a classic example. It's a PPP only, right? So for those who don't know that Digi Yatra is supported by Ministry of Civil Aviation. However, on the board of Digi Yatra sits Airport Authority of India and the remaining public-private airports. So they have an equal share, and it's a industry-led initiative. It's a neutral body which was created to create the digital ID solution for a seamless access to the airport. So yes, many of the initiatives which you mentioned, including Digi Yatra, yes, it's a big role to play. All these initiatives, government alone can't do everything. It has to be support from industry as well. And the startup ecosystem, you cannot deny that at all, because any new innovation, technology which is happening, there is an interplay of that. Even in Digi Yatra, we have not built everything from scratch. We have taken the best of whatever is required to build the use case. Digi Yatra is a digital ID solution which is powered by, when I have to talk about the government side, it would not have been possible without Aadhaar. So the Aadhaar is the globally I was in a forum of IATA 1ID, which is trying to do similar solution at a global scale. But what the challenge they are facing is how do you create a profile of a user, or how do you create a verified credential by using the document. So in India, we have a luxury of having Aadhaar, wherein and government departments are talking to each other through APIs. API Setu is a classic example. DigiLocker is an example, right? So you could easily create a profile without getting a human intervention into it. So you key in your Aadhaar number, your OTP comes, and then your XML data comes from Aadhaar. And in Digi Yatra, then what we do is we create a verified credential. We purge all the data which was pulled up from Aadhaar ecosystem and immediately create a verified credential and stores it on the user's phone. And that is where I'm saying that architecture was serverless. So that's the government part of it. When it comes to the private, it is hosted on AWS. The algorithms which we are using for the facial validation when you are onboarding is also NIST-rated in algorithms, which is again coming from a private entity. There are algorithms which are in play to parse your boarding pass data and other things. So, and then when it comes to the regulatory frameworks and others, guidance from MOCA, MIT, and all other government departments is always there. So, classic example of PPP coming together and for a solution which is so easing the journeys.
So you are managing a lot of citizen data. So do you think there is a threat of cyber attacks also associated with it?
Okay. So we are not storing or managing any data. Okay. It's a zero data, and I think that is one thing which everybody needs to know, and that's why most of us started wearing these t-shirts. Maybe I'll have to stand up and show. So if you have not read it yet, it says, "Don't know your customer." And that we have to do it as a campaign because you designed a solution which is privacy first, but I think we are living in a world where since morning we have been hearing, how will you create a solution without data? Where is my data? You put it anywhere, it is everywhere, not with Digi Yatra. When you're using this is one of the most privacy preserving solution out there globally. So, and why we can say that? Because this has been done as a design. It's not an afterthought with Digi Yatra. So there is no storage, data is in motion. We say data is new oil. We all agree data is oil and data has value. Since morning we have been spoken about it. But can you store oil for longer duration? No. Oil should always be in motion, powering vehicles, powering industries, right? The moment you store oil, it can evaporate or it will have no value to it. Similarly, we believe at Digi Yatra, data should always be in motion, and that's what the solution is all about. We have brought together all the participants who need to do a certain thing to move a passenger, to validate a passenger, and then use the touch points from entry till the boarding gate. Now, to do this, we don't need to store any data. The data is always stored with the user on their phone as a verified credential. The concept is called self-sovereign identity. And it uses blockchain to issue a verified credential, which is very similar to the Xerox copy which we would have used in past, right? It's a physical version of it. You take a Xerox copy, you put a gazetted officer stamp on it, and then you give it to anybody who can trust this. So there is what happened here. You created a trust triangle between the original ID holder and the entity who put a gazetted officer stamp on it, the gazetted officer, and the entity who wants to validate. So Digi Yatra, in simple terms, is a digital version of that. It is with you. You share it with the airport before your travel, and airport keeps the selfie of yours and the boarding pass details till the flight departs. Even immediately after 24 hours of your flight departure, the data is purged from the airport as well. And this is taken care of with the certain audits that automated scripts are there. So yeah, so in a world where everybody wants data, we have taken care of our cybersecurity threats and all by completely minimizing or, so to say, removing the threat surface itself. There is no database, long-term database at all, at least in Digi Yatra.
Okay, so my final question with you, with both of you, is actually, if you could implement one AI-powered innovation across all government services, what it would be?
No, I think as far as ours is concerned, we have already implemented a lot of use cases. Maybe others can come and see how do we replicate these use cases. But One more thing I must bring here, saying that when we are leveraging AI potential, especially within the government sector, now this is the time where I think when we are leveraging services, leveraging benefits, looking towards the citizens, let's create a interface where I interact with all those databases wherever they are. I interact seamlessly. I interact all of them without violating any data privacy and data security concerns. But at the same time, assume that you are applying for a passport services, looking for a address change per se. Let's say, why is that I can't ask you saying that Sugandha, you are asking a address change in passport? Would you also like to change your address in maybe Aadhaar, wherever it is, driving license, so on and so forth? So these kind of, today the open banking is a reality, right? You don't change your bank account wherever you go. You just do banking, right? So once I have identified, let's say Sugandha is Sugandha, why is that you are needed everywhere you need to prove yourself to avail a service or benefits? May not require. And I think that is where the potential of these emerging sense to achieve that seamlessly and to achieve that holistically. When I say holistically, wherever you are traveling, you have a ration card today in Delhi, tomorrow you transfer or a labor goes from Delhi to Mumbai, his entitlement and benefits probably remain same. But why do I need to register for the same ration card there again in Mumbai? It may not be needed. So I think these are the concerns we need to address. So thank you.
Rightly said that it should be a completely seamless experience. So with this, we are binding up the panel here. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Can I request the panelists to just be on stage? In fact, we have a little time. You want to throw questions to the audience? Is there any questions from the audience? We have, well, I think that they must have got. Is there anybody from the audience who wants to ask questions on GOV? Sure. Can we have a mic passed on to him, please? Sure, please. Mic वहाँ पे देखिए stage पे.
One of the biggest implementation I would like to see from AI is like tumhi ne dard diya hai, tumhi dawa dena, for fraud detection and threat, because there are so many users who don't use any of the tech and all, but they are using mobile phones and then they are regularly getting victims of frauds, threats. So AI can play a big role there to be able to at least alert those users that these looks like fraud and all. Yeah, so that is the one big use case I would see.
Yes, sir. Your question, please.
Yeah, my name is Sameer. So I wanted to ask both of you that with the DPDP Act in place now, and the increasing usage of AI in respective products, whether it's a passport or Aadhaar or Digi Yatra, and so many unknown threats and unknown risks prevalent in the system, how is the government looking at mitigating those threats from privacy point of view?
Straight away, which I've just started exploring those unknown kind of threats coming to the system. One of the threat, let me quote some examples so that we can discuss more. Let's say you are uploading a document to my portal. So I can assure you saying that at least 80%, this particular document says that this is the Aadhaar. But I can make out saying that it's a real Aadhaar or it's a fake Aadhaar. Based on, as I said, AI not AI, AI with NLP, AI with RPA kind of a technology. And let's say you pass from there. Now the second chunk of validation and authorization is, when I'm validating with my own database and multiple databases, again, I'm leveraging AI and other related stuff. So how many stages you will cross by? I'll cut you through somewhere or other. So like he rightly said, one area of the very potential area is how do you detect a fraud? Based on their behavioral pattern, based on their the documentation, because most of these services are today, if you ask me, it is based on some or other documents. So how do you protect that document? How do you prevent that document getting into a fraud kind of a this thing? And third and the last thing is, end-to-end piece, when you are looking for the security or privacy angle, devising those kind of a data classification, data segregation, and maintaining your privacy or data security end-to-end. These are the use cases I am already into it, and it is yielding results. So that's how we are doing. Thank you.
Same, there is increasingly attention towards privacy and all in government sector also. With DPDPA coming in, government is serious about it. Privacy by design become a norm, and privacy enhancing technologies are also being pushed upon, wherein one of the things which we use is self-sovereign identity. You will see many more such initiatives being supported by government. We are already seeing this. Data Security Council of India is doing a brilliant work around supporting startups who are working in this area of privacy enhancing technologies. I think another thing which will come up now, it's not yet become a buzzword, but ethical by design will also become common as we move along. So everything by design.
Thank you, sir. So my point was from the point of view that formally we don't have any policy on managing privacy in AI systems. Our country doesn't have. It's not part of DPDP also. So considering that there are no written rules or any guidelines, how does the backend system of each of you take care of, like you mentioned, privacy by design? So those are the concerns area of a PII holder.
So government definitely will, DPDPA will define many of it, and whatever will be there in DPDPA might hold for AI as well. Correct. It will move on to next steps from there. While government is deciding that, what stops us from building such solutions? Because Digi Yatra came in 3 years back, right? So nobody was talking about privacy by design at that time. The solution in design wherein if you take the nuances, so many people have onboarded onto the app. Did you ever notice that when you pull your data from Aadhaar, your address is not pulled? Only those details which are required to travel through the airports are pulled.
Minimization.
Data minimalization. Aadhaar is also masked. We don't take the full Aadhaar. So purging is one part, minimalization is the other, not having long-term storage. Asking those questions at the design stage itself is important, because once you build it, then it's very difficult to go back. So those, I think till government comes up, I think we are all sensible enough to have those guardrails in place.
Correct. Thanks.
So in your organization, my name is Abhijit Chatterjee, I'm from Abhi Technologies. So in your organization, when we talk about AI is a hardcore technology. So do you prefer to do the entire thing on-premise or with your in-house expert team, or you collaborate with the third party or outside government people also?
No, let me divide into 3 parts. I think you have asked a question which is very kind of a generic in nature. When I divide into 3 parts, the first and foremost thing is, when it comes to leveraging AI, you as an organization or you as a department or you as a ministry, you must know your business rule. Where are you trying to leverage AI? You must know your workload, which I call them workload, the business you are dealing with. And once you understand your workload, then you go into the next part, the data which is dealing with that workload. Now you classify and segregate the data which will be dealing with the AI. Is it a PII data? Is it a configurable data? Is it a public data? That's the second piece, right? And then the third piece is, when you are leveraging, then you bring in the tools and technology which will work on that data, work on that applications, work on that processes. Then you align the tool and technology according to the classification and segregation you have done. Then the fourth piece is the compliances and regulation. You will never go wrong, like sir said. If you go wrong with those compliances, regulations, and the rules of engagement, you are landing yourself terribly wrong somewhere. So all the pieces together, but then I generally find the problem is, you something outsource, but then you outsource your responsibility too. That must not be, that should not be. the responsibility is yours. Nobody can. I can very well say that no industry can help me saying that what kind of passport data I have. No industry can help me. That I have to devise my own, right? Nobody. No one can. So thank you.